Guru.
That's it, I have.
It's not connected. Adi Guru, that's it.
Adi Guru 108.
Okay. Can I have some? Can you open some windows? Some ventilation. Very Krishna. Jai. Thank God. Can you turn it on? It's not like that. It's not like that. Just remove that. Remove that completely. Can you turn that on first? No, it's not on. No, it needs to turn on. Hare Krishna. Yeah. No, this, remove that completely. This has a mount. This has a mount here. Yes, this goes directly in that. Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of Gauradesh. And I want to sincerely thank the management for helping with this, giving me a chance to purify my existence by speaking Harikatha. Yeah, Prabhu, you can take this out. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयत्मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। जन्मादियस्य यतन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेन ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरया। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मा प्रोजितकैतवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापोत्रयन्मूलनं। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृदयवृद्ध्यत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तकशनात्। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रव संयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरवो रसिका भुवि भावुका। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नित्यानन्दमहं नौमि सर्वानन्दकरं परं हरिनामामृतं देवमवधूताशिरोमणिम्। आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाम्बदिव्यछविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसाप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna everybody. So if you come to Europe and you don't come to Cologne and take darshan of Gauradesh, nothing is going to be auspicious. So I'm very thankful and grateful to the Cologne management for giving this insignificant servant a chance to speak Harikatha. Thank you very much. So we're going to discuss in 2 sessions about the life of Ambarisa Maharaj. Today, now and the afternoon, right? Yeah. So actually the subject matter takes at least a week to discuss. But this world is is getting shorter and shorter, time is getting smaller and smaller. So Bhagavad Katha is also getting condensed and condensed. So there was a personality called as Nabhag, and Nabhag was what you can say, Nabhag and Nabhag. Nabhag was Nabhag's son, and Nabhag, what he did was he was residing in the he had sons around. He had a lot of sons, and then the Nabhag was actually have taken to Brahmacharya ashram, and his brothers divided the entire property among themselves. And when Nabhag came back and he asked for his share, and he said that, Baba, you're practicing Brahmachari, so all of a sudden you turn out and then it's very difficult to give you the share. But we have a very wonderful share for you. Our father is your share. So he said, okay, my father is my share. Then he goes to his father and said, my dear father, you are my share. And the father said, this is nonsense. You need to be given a proper share from the property. And then the father said, okay, do not fight with them. Just go to the arena where sacrifices is performed by Angira and other rishis and chant these 2 mantras which I am giving you, and they will hand it over all the wealth which is left out from the yajna to you. So Nabhag carries out the orders of his father. He goes there, he accepts, he gets all the wealth, and when he gets all the wealth, Lord Shiva comes there. Lord Shiva says, hey, yajna is for me. Yajna is performed for me. Everything belongs to me. Who are you to take everything? Oh, my father told me to take, so I am taking. So Lord Shiva tested him very nicely, and Nabhag passed the test. And then Nabhag, when Nabhag passed the test, he was Lord Shiva gave him everything plus additional bonus. So Nabhag's son was Maharaj Ambrish. So Ambrish Maharaj's father was, you can see, the great devotee of the Lord. So Maharaj Ambrish was a very exalted devotee. Very exalted. He was celebrated for his great merits. And Shukadeva Goswami is saying that although he was cursed by a very powerful Brahmana, but that the curse could not act on him. If you see the life of Maharaj Parikshit, he was also cursed. Did the curse act on him? No. Before the snake bite will come, the Parikshit Maharaj perfected his life. So, Ambrish Maharaj was certainly most exalted. And Parikshit Maharaj is saying, I want to hear from him. I want to hear about him. Now see, Parikshit Maharaj is having 7 days with him. But the way he is discussing the subject matter of the Shukadeva Goswami, he is completely fearless. He is so fixed up in his devotion to Krishna, to Lord Shri Krishna, that that person is going to die in 7 days. So how much afraid he should be. But here we see Maharaj Parikshit inquiring about so many different subject matters for the benefit of the whole world, especially the assembly there, and the benefit of the whole world. And Parikshit Maharaj is asking, I want to know about this. Now, how did that a powerful Brahmana like Durvasa is cursing Ambrish Maharaj? Durvasa is cursing someone and doesn't act. How is that possible? Who is this Ambrish? I want to know more in detail. If you come to know about that, if you come to know about a devotee who has gone through all the turbulent problems in his life, and then he has come out successfully, would definitely like to meet him, right? So Maharaj Parikshit is saying, I want to hear about him. So Maharaj Ambrish, he was actually ruling the entire world. Amrisho Mahabhaga Sapta Deepa Matim Mahim. This was also said for Yayati Maharaj. We were discussing yesterday Yayati Maharaj's life and activities. And Yayati Maharaj, in the life of Yayati Maharaj, there was a turning point. And the turning point was when he also heard about the life and activities of Maharaj Ambarish from Narad Muni. How did Yayati Maharaj develop renunciation from the opulence he was having for the son's enjoyment he was having from his wives? How did he develop that? He heard about the glorious characteristics of Ambarish Maharaj. So it is very interlinked that we are discussing this Ambarish Maharaj's life. And Ambarish Maharaj attained the kingdom of the entire world. Just like now we have the president of America, president of so many different countries in the Latin America, then in Europe also we have so many different presidents or the prime ministers. So like that, previously as well, the whole world were having different kings, but there was one king who was ruling the entire world. And usually it was from Bharat Bhumi, and the capital was Delhi, Hastinapur. So Ambarish Maharaj, although he was having the opulence of the entire world, he had all the 7 islands under his control, unlimited opulence and prosperity of the entire earth. Such position is very rarely attained. Sometimes we get a very insignificant position and we become so puffed up. So we need to understand that there were personalities, there are kings, who had the opulence of the whole world with them, and they were completely unaffected by that. Maharaj Ambarish did not care for it at all. He knew very well that all such opulence is material. It is like a dream, and it is going to go away. So Maharaj Ambarish was very conscious of these things. And Vasudeve Bhagavati Tad Bhakteshu Cha Sadhushu. Ambarish Maharaj, how was he serving the Supreme Lord? He was such a great devotee. He was 24 hours absorbed in serving the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Cha Sadhushu, saintly devotees of Supreme Lord. And because of this devotion, he thought of the entire universe and the entire opulence which he had with him as a piece of insignificant stone. That was the glorious characteristics of Ambarish Maharaj. And how was he engaging his senses? Savai mana Krishna padar vindayo vanchansi vaikunta gunanu varnane karo harer mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakara chuta satkathodayo mukunda lingalaya darshane drasho tadbharatya gatra sparshe anga sangamam घ्राणं च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत् तुलस्या रसनां तदर्पिते पादो हरे क्षेत्र पदानु सर्पणे शिरो हरिकेश पदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्येन तु काम कामया यथोत उत्तम श्लोक जनाश्रया रतिः. How was he engaging his senses? The service of the Lord. A king who had all the opulence in the world, who had all the entire world under his control. How was he serving the Supreme Lord? It's a glorious. If even Yayati Maharaj heard this, his life was transformed. So definitely, our life should also be transformed. Ambarish Maharaj was always engaging his mind. Engaging the mind is the most difficult thing. Right? While chanting also, we're chanting the holy name of the Lord in front of the Lord, in the association of devotees, but mind is so powerful, it takes you somewhere else. Right? So, always engaging the mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of the Lord. It is in practice. How to take darshan of the Lord? There is a process. Start from the lotus feet. Gradually progress towards the lotus face of the Lord. That's the way. That's actual meditation. When you talk about meditation, that's meditation. And his words in describing the glories of the Lord. Actually giving up all the formalities of this material world, one should glorify the Supreme Lord. Narad Muni, when he was in his previous life, he was telling this to Vyasadeva, that after I took darshan of the Lord, I was being ordered to preach. So what did I do? Giving up all the formalities of the material world, I preached. All the formality. He just glorified the Supreme Lord day in and day out. So his words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands were engaged in serving the temple of the Lord. So cleaning the temple of the Lord is one of the services. It is not that a small service or a big service. No, service is service. Then it may be the position of a temple president or the position of a sweeper. The temple service is a service. And ears were engaged in hearing about Krishna. There are so many things to hear in this material world, right? So many things we can. These days, just go to the YouTube, put something and you can hear, watch any movies, do anything we want, right? So easy, such an easy life. But we have to decide what we have to do. When we are alone, when we have internet access, we are all alone. That is the time we know our personality, what we do in that time. Nobody is around you, only you and Krishna. And you have a very nice high speed Wi-Fi connection. And you have very nice phone with you, fully charged. And you're alone, the room is locked. And that's the time we decide what to do. And that's our character. He engaged his eyes in, and then he engaged his eyes in seeing the deities of the Lord. And then he used to go to Mathura and Vrindavan. He used to often travel, Amrish Maharaj, to Mathura and Vrindavan. Actually, this particular incident which happened in Vrindavan. Amrish Maharaj was actually spending the whole 1 year in Vrindavan. This particular incident we are going to discuss today, it actually took place in Vrindavan. And in Madhuban, where Dhruv Maharaj perfected his life. That was the place where Amrish Maharaj used to stay. And he engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of Lord Krishna's devotees. When we actually embrace devotees, what happens? We actually, their devotion comes to us and our devotion goes to them. It is an exchange, it happens. That's why the devotees, when we embrace devotees, we feel nice. And when we fight, we feel embarrassed. Devotees are meant to be served, to have friendship with. And Amrish Maharaj was engaging his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of the tulsi offered to the Lord. He was engaging his tongue in tasting the prasad of the Lord. He was engaging his legs in walking to the holy places and temples. This life is meant for Krishna's service. Till the time we have this body stout and strong, it should be engaged very nicely in the service of the Lord. We never know when, what will happen, which senses will stop responding, and then that will be it. Imagine if the eyes stop responding, if the ears stop responding, if the legs stop. If these days getting a paralytic attack is very normal. If you get an attack and you're paralyzed, what will happen? So till the time we have this senses strong and stout, it has to be utilized very nicely, very properly in the service of the Lord. Utilize everything to fullest. Don't wait that, okay, I'll do that in my old age. It's not possible. Whatever time you have in your life, utilize that time fullest in the service of the Lord. Perfect your life. If you have strength, if you have ability, then speak and encourage others to come closer to Krishna. So in this way, he was serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Amrish Maharaj never desired anything for his own sense gratification. If you are practicing Krishna consciousness, why don't we practice? Why should not we practice pure devotional service? Why do we have these desires? When Krishna is the supreme maintainer, then why don't we just engage all our senses in the devotional service and try to please him and try to please the devotees? This way, one can increase the attachment for the Lord and become completely free from the material desires. If we engage ourselves also in this way, then what will happen? We're going to engage, we're going to perfect our existence. So Amrish Maharaj always offered the results of his royal duties to Supreme Lord. Narad Muni also instructed Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj was asking Narad Muni, I am a grahastha. How should I perfect my existence? You have told, he was describing about the brahmachari, glories of brahmacharya ashram, glories of vanaprastha ashram, glories of sannyas ashram, and then how sannyasis, they attain perfection in life. And Yudhishthira is thinking, oh my God, I'm a grahastha, there is no hope for me, what should I do? So he asked, oh, I'm a graha mudadhi, I'm in full number 1. How will I be benefited? At that time Narad Muni is saying, Vasudevarpanam sakshadupasita mahamuni graheshvavastito rajan kriya kurvanneto chita Vasudevarpanam sakshadupasita mahamuni. Narad Muni is saying, do your activities and offer everything, offer all the results of those activities to Vasudev. And upasita mahamuni. Upasita means sitting near to Mahamunis. Who is Mahamunis? Are the devotees of the Lord. So this is the advice of Narad Muni. So Amrish Maharaj used to offer everything to Lord Vasudev, and he used to perform his administrative activities in the consultation with the Brahmanas. That's why there was no problems in his administration. So the administration must do his administration taking in consideration the opinion of the Brahmanas. So when that has been done, then there is no problem in administration. Then further, Amrish Maharaj was performing many sacrifices like Ashwamedha Yagya, and he was just Ashwamedha Yagyas, and he was thus satisfied. He satisfied the master of the all Yagyas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he also satisfied the devotees of the Lord. When a sacrifice is performed, lot of sadhus they come. We have a festival here, right? Whenever we have a festival, lot of devotees come, senior devotees come. So it is a duty to satisfy each one of them very nicely. So when Amrish Maharaj was performing this yagya, sacrifices, and whenever all the senior people were coming, like Vasishtha, Asishtha, Gautama, all were coming there, Amrish Maharaj satisfied them to fullest by giving them some test prasadam, giving nice arrangement to stay, giving them all dakshina and everything, and he satisfied them to fullest. And he also Amrish Maharaj's citizens. How were the citizens? The citizens were so gorgeously dressed, so opulently dressed, that as if it was like when all that came to the ceremony, as if all the demigods were coming. Amrish Maharaj's citizens were very, very opulent. And the beauty of the citizens was that all the citizens were engaged in chanting and hearing about the glories of the Lord. When the king is such, when the king is a Mahabhagavata, then naturally the qualities of the king will enter in the citizens. And that if the parents are if the parents are sincerely following the path of Krishna consciousness, then the children will automatically become devotees. If the parents have a different nature, if they have personal life is different and the temple life is different, then the children will find out and they will choose which to take. So the parents should very sincerely follow Krishna consciousness. They should have only one nature in the outside world and also at home. Not that two nature. In the home I'm completely different, watching football, watching cricket and this and that, and when I go to temple, big tilak, nice kanthi, nice kurta, very big shawl, Hare Krishna, I'm a senior devotee in so many years. And when you go home, the children are saying, oh my God, my father is in no tilak, no arti, nothing, and just watching football. Yay! So if the children, if they see such behavior, then how will they take to Krishna consciousness? This is one of the major reasons why the children of the devotees are not devotees. Because the parents are their ideal, their heroes, and when they see they are not following properly, why will they take to Krishna consciousness? I mean, they take it so cheaply. For us, we saw the material world as a cheap thing, and we are practicing Krishna consciousness seriously. But for them, if they see us following Krishna consciousness cheaply, then they will say better the material world is better. So it works like that, their consciousness. So the Amrish Maharaj, because he was a great devotee of the Lord, his citizens were always accustomed to chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord and his activities. And that made a lot of Imagine the whole citizens were engaged in Krishna's service and nobody even aspired for the heavenly planets. Can you imagine? Nobody. Arey Baba, if we hear the glories of the Lord all the time, who will aspire for this most inauspicious heavenly planet? Who wants to go there? So, and those who were and all of them experienced the transcendental bliss in the heart. This is the state of the citizens. All of the citizens were experiencing transcendental bliss in their life all the time. And that is the glories of Ambarish Maharaj. Sa itham bhakti yogena tapo yuktena parthiva swadharmena harim prinam sarvan kaman shanair jaho. Ambarish Maharaj thus performed devotional service to the Lord in this endeavor, practiced severe austerities. Ambarish Maharaj, devotees will think that Krishna consciousness means relaxed life. Relaxed life. What austerity? For us, Ekadashi also means change of diet. What is Ekadashi? Ekadashi means change of diet. Just change the menu. That is Ekadashi. When I actually don't fast, my wife comes to me and says, "Okay, can you break the fast?" I said, "We have not yet fasted. We have not fasted." We fasted. No, we have not fasted. Fasting means fasting, not the change of diet. So to be very honest, 8-9 years I did practice Ekadashi very nicely. But last 2-3 years, because of my intense services, I couldn't do that. So, but Maharaj Ambarish, he performed devotional service to the Lord, and this endeavor he practiced severe austerities. And severe austerities in the practice of devotional service are of many varieties. Many varieties. Like if the devotees are worshipping the deities in the temple, there are so many activities which are related to the deities. Like someone is decorating the deity, cleansing the temple, bringing the water, and then continuing the routine work, performing arti many times, preparing first class food for the Lord, preparing nice dress, and so on. There are so many activities. So hard labor is involved in this also. This is also a kind of austerity. This service is also a kind of austerity. Then similarly, a lot of hard labor goes in giving classes, studying, distributing books. That is also tapasya. That is also tapasya. So in this way, one can, what happened by such austerity and devotional service, one is purified of one's material existence. And indeed, such austerity leads one to one's constitutional position. By doing these services, one will gradually understand his constitutional position as a servant of the Supreme Lord. Jivere Swarup Hai Krishna Nityadas. And in this way, one gives up his material desires. And as soon as one is freed from the material desires, there is no repetition of birth and death. So these services which we have to do, one should not give up these services. One should be constantly engaged throughout his life in the service of the Lord. This is a very beautiful program been given by Srila Prabhupada. Very nice program of engaging all our senses in service of the Lord. We have so many services to do. There is no end to the services. We can distribute books, we can serve the Lord, cook for the devotees, cook for the Lord, go outside and preach. And if someone has skills of management, they can manage the temple. So many things. And Ambarish Maharaj, he gave up all his attachment for household affairs. He was not attached. Now, there is a point to understand. Attachment has to be internal, not external. If you're a family person, have a wife, have children, have friends and relatives, and if you show the attachment externally, if a wife has, if a girl is married to a husband and she shows her attachment externally, detachment externally, that will bring a chaos in both the life of husband and wife. So detachment has to be internal, and externally one has to show that he is attached. That is what is said in 7th canto 14th chapter. Narad Muni is saying this to Yudhishthira Maharaj again, that how should one live a life as grahasthas? Externally showing that very attached, and internally very detached. Our problem is that we show that we are very detached from outside, and internally, as soon as she goes away, then, oh my God, don't go. That's our problem. That's how the the problems in grahastha ashram, especially devotees and their when they're married, that is a problem. That this is common. So this is a secret which Bhagavatam has. If you read Bhagavatam nicely, everything is there. All the secrets, all the life's amazing secrets are in Bhagavatam. All the solutions to all the problems are in Bhagavatam. But we don't have time to read Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is kept nicely in our library, very nicely packed, sealed, packed. No one even bothers to remove that and take out half an hour to read them. So how will life change? Our whole everything is on Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada carried Bhagavatam in the West, and he broadcasted the glories from the Bhagavatam, and this whole revolution took place. And now the situation is that we are doing everything but taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. We need to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a spotless Puran. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself used to hear it. So, being very pleased with the unhonored devotion of Amrish Maharaj, Lord, the Supreme Lord gave his own disc to Amrish Maharaj's protection. And when we are performing such devotional service, then the Supreme Lord gives complete protection. Complete protection. Nobody dare can touch you. Even in the midst of the greatest calamity, nobody can touch you. Even the world war happens or anything happens, if the Lord wants to protect you, nobody can touch you. But that faith and that conviction one should have. So, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord gave his own disc to Maharaj Amrish. And Maharaj Amrish once was performing Ekadashi Vrata. Ekadashi Vrata he was performing for 1 complete year. Actually, he observed, Amrish Maharaj used to observe Ekadashi Vrata all the time. Throughout his life he offered. But once he desired to perform his Ekadashi Vrata at Mathura. And that's why, and how was Amrish Maharaj performing Ekadashi Vrata? I'll tell you, and then I will tell you how do we perform. Amrish Maharaj performed his Ekadashi Vrata for 3 days, 3 nights. Right from Dashmi itself, the Ekadashi Vrata started. Dashmi, the whole day Dashmi, not eating anything on Dashmi, then not eating anything on Ekadashi, and then accepting the, during the Parana time, accepting the Prashadam and breaking that. So, 2 nights the fasting used to take place. And how is our Ekadashi? In the next day's Ekadashi, we make sure that we order things at night and we eat nicely. Because next day is the change of diet, so we have to change the diet. So this diet is not available for the next day. So we make sure that in the night we feed ourselves very nicely. The next day there is change of diet, we tolerate somehow, and then the fast breaking timing we just enjoy. So this is our Ekadashi, and there is no austerity in this. I'm very sorry to say this. I mean, it might be counted as Ekadashi, but better we do his Ekadashi nicely, will be very much appreciated. So in the month of Kartik, Maharaj Amrish completed this 1 year. He took a vow to perform this Ekadashi Vrata in Holy Dham. So that 1 year was getting completed. So he, after observing the fast for last 2-3 nights, and after bathing in Yamuna, Maharaj Amrish very nicely he worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He performed all the Abhishek and everything. He served the Brahmanas, he served the guests, he fulfilled their desires, satisfied them, and then he was about to break the fast, and he was about to accept with their permission, he was about to accept the Prashadam to break his fast. And that exactly at that time, His Divine Grace, Durvasa Muni appears there. The great and very powerful mystic, he appears there, and he said, Amrish! And Durvasa Muni was there. And Amrish Maharaj Durvasa Muni gladly accepted the Amrish Maharaj, immediately offered his posterior dandavat. Oh, Durvasa is here, my good fortune. And Durvasa Muni said, and Amrish Maharaj immediately offered, oh Muni, please accept Prashadam at my place. And Durvasa said, okay, fine, I'll accept, but I will have to go and take a bath in the river Yamuna. And so he went and he dipped into the river Yamuna, and he was meditating upon the impersonal Brahman. Now, in the meantime, what was happening, the actual muhurta, the one muhurta of Dwadashi which was left for breaking the fast, it was passing by. And Amrish Maharaj was thinking that this is a vow which he took for 1 year, and today that vow is getting completed. Right? So it is very important that, it was very important that I eat that. And I break the fast because this is my vow. From here I can go back to my kingdom. So, but here Durvasa Muni is here, and now what to do? So he consulted the Brahmanas. He consulted the Brahmanas of what has to be done. The Brahmanas advised that you can drink water. And the Brahmanas advised, Amrish Maharaj meditating on the Supreme Personality, he drank some water and he waited for Durvasa Muni to arrive. And Durvasa Muni, he was in Samadhi, inside Yamuna. He was fixing his mind in the impersonal Brahman. Actually, he was in Vrindavan, he should have fixed his mind in Krishna. But that's the faith of Durvasa Muni. Faith. That he had faith in the impersonal Brahman. So even though he was in Yamuna, even though he was in Vrindavan Dham, Durvasa Muni was fixing his mind in the impersonal Brahman. So that is, we can understand the fate. So King Ambarish was also meditating on the Supreme Lord, and he was waiting very patiently for Durvasa to return. As a devotee, because he cannot accept food, he cannot accept prasadam unless the guest has been served. This is an etiquette which we don't follow. The guest is here, he is hungry, and we just put everything in our mouth. Oh, guest! Oh, the guest has not got prasadam. Oh. This is offense. This is an offense. We should learn from Bhagavatam. That's why we should study Bhagavatam to understand what are the etiquettes. Even in the most unusual situations, these etiquettes are to be followed. Even in the challenging circumstances, these etiquettes are to be followed. Ambrish Maharaj waited for Durvasa to come back. He did not eat here. He could have easily eaten, Baba. He was the king of the whole world. Who can stop him? But he did not do that. And after executing the ritualistic ceremonies, Durvasa returned from the bank of Yamuna, and the king received him very well. He offered his obeisances again to Durvasa Muni. Oh Durvasa, please accept. Oh Durvasa Muni, please accept my humble obeisances. But Durvasa Muni, he applied his mystic power here. Now, when someone has mystic power, it has to be utilized for propagation of Krishna consciousness. Shukracharya used his mystic powers to curse Yayati Maharaj, and then again used his mystic power to give him back his youth. So such mystic powers, when utilized for the sense gratification, are useless. So here Durvasa Muni was using this mystic power to offend, to find fault with the devotees. If we have power and position, and if we are using that power and position to find fault with others, you are wasting your valuable energy. You are wasting your bhakti. So he could see by his mystic power. What did he see? He see that King Ambarish, he drank little water without his permission. And Durvasa Muni said, oh, this rascal, he drank water without my permission. It is his duty to first serve me and then accept whatever he has to accept. But this rascal, he first drank water. And Durvasa Muni, his body was trembling. He immediately got angry. And his face was curved, his eyebrows were crooked, and angrily he spoke to Ambrish Maharaj, you nonsense! Just see the behavior of this cruel man. He was saying to all his citizens, this cruel man, all the Brahmanas were standing there, he was saying, such a cruel man. He's not a devotee of Vishnu, he's pretending to be a devotee of Vishnu. Does a devotee of Vishnu does these things? A devotee of Vishnu means how? He should offer all respect to others. He should first worship me, take care of me first. But this rascal is breaking his fast, drinking water. So being proud of his material opulence and position, This Ambarish thinks himself that he has become a god, and he does not worship the Brahmanas. He is fit to be punished. He is transgressing the law of religion. This Ambarish does not know what is dharma. And Maharaj, Ambarish, you have invited me as a guest, but instead of feeding me, you yourself have eaten first. And because of your misbehavior, you are fit to be punished, and I am going to punish you. Because I have rights to punish you. Because I am a Brahmana. You're King Vena. He misbehaved, the Brahmana punished. The Brahmanas, they punished and burned him to ashes. So Durvasa Muni is also taking the situation in his own hand. But he did not know that this is not Vena, this is Ambarish Maharaj. Brahmanas sometimes they're correct, but when they are themselves puffed up, then it's difficult. So Durvasa Muni, when his face became red with anger, he uprooted a hair from his head and he created a demon. A very powerful demon. It was like a blazing fire of devastation to punish Maharaj Ambarish. And taking the trident in his hand and making the surface tremble with its footsteps, this creature was actually is just about to go and kill Ambarish Maharaj. And upon seeing the king, now very interesting thing, we as devotees, we have to learn from this situation. Now there is a calamity in the life of a devotee. There is a calamity in the life of Ambarish Maharaj, right? Somebody is coming and going to kill him. Okay? See how dependent Ambarish Maharaj is on Supreme Lord. Ambarish Maharaj, but the king, upon seeing that, was not at all disturbed and did not even move an inch slightly in his position. He had that faith, that conviction. Mari ve rakhi beje ichha tumar. He had that conviction that whatever the Lord wants, whatever the desire of the Lord is, may it happen. And Ambarish Maharaj did not even move an inch. If you see the life of Jada Bharat, Jada Bharat, there was a big Kali sacrifice going on. The Kali Puja was going on, all the dacoits were together. And they had a Purohit, they had a Brahmana who was guiding them. And the Purohit told them that to please Kali, we need to have a very nice, strong and stout human being. And if you sacrifice that, Kali will be pleased. So all of them, all the dacoits, imagine that all the dacoits were looking for a very strong and stout person. And they found who? Jad Bharat. And they brought Jad Bharat in front of Kali. They gave him a nice bath because he did not take bath for so many days. They gave him a nice bath. They put him nice clothes, gave him nice food to eat, and he ate. No reaction. He just ate. And the ceremony began. The ceremony of sacrifice. He was put on that. He was made to lie down. And the Purohit himself came with a big sword, very big sword, and he was about to chop off the head of Jada Bharat and offer that to Kali. And Kali, Mother Kali, Goddess Kali, she was saying, oh my God. In all the world, they have to find him, Jada Bharat. Baba, he is a Paramhamsa Vaishnava, devotee of the Lord. Kali could not tolerate. Kali just came out from the deity and then she took the same sword. Fat. Killed all the dacoits, killed that Purohit. And then kicked all their heads like a football. And Jada Bharat did not even move an inch. He did not retaliate. Whatever was happening, he allowed that to happen. Such faith and conviction we as devotees should have in the Supreme Lord. Problem is, when we come in difficulty, we take the situation in our own hands. Instead of allowing Krishna to take charge of the situation, when we take the situation in our own hands, then Krishna says, okay, you take care of my devotee. I will not interrupt. But if the devotee allows Krishna to interfere all the time, and devotee just depends on Supreme Lord, surrenders to him, then the Lord will do. Then the Lord will interfere. I asked a sadhu. There was an incident where my dear friend's sister was killed by her husband, and the devotee was very disturbed, and he was saying, I will do this, I will do that. So he went to a sadhu, and the sadhu told that, you want that guy to get punished? He said, yes. So you have two options. Either you take the situation in your own hand, or you allow the Krishna to take the charge. If Krishna takes the charge of a situation, then he will deal accordingly. You don't have to worry for that. You just have to have faith and devotion. So Amrish Maharaj, upon seeing them, was not at all disturbed. A pure devotee of Narayana is never the pure devotee of Supreme Lord is never afraid of any material dangers. There have been examples of Prahlad Maharaj. We have seen these examples of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his father, but he was not at all afraid. He was only 5 years old, and then you can see the life of such great exalted devotees. So being a devotee means one should fully be a devotee. Complete surrender to Supreme Lord, complete dependence on Supreme Lord. So that is what we have to learn. Thank you very much. We'll take some questions and we'll continue in the afternoon. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes, sir.
How do we develop this faith in the Lord?
By associating with devotees who have faith, and by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Both. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is full of description of such devotees. If you read them, if you hear them, read them, speak about them, then those divine qualities of those devotees will come in us. If you again and again observe, when we are hearing this great personalities, we are actually not just hearing them, we are actually associating with them, and all those divine qualities which they have, it will gradually come in us. That's a process. And also, and in person also, we have to associate with devotees who have unflinching faith. Okay. She came first.
Oh, I know. You first.
You were first. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, the question is, I was thinking of this text of Bhagavad Vasudeva Sarvamati Samahatma Sudurlabha, and I couldn't understand it because Mahatma is described like a person who is always concentrated on Krishna, thinks about Krishna, and never forgets Krishna. Yes, and nevertheless, it is written, Samahatma Sudurlabha. That means the Mahatmas are not the same. How you can explain it? Vasudeva Sarvamati, why not all the Mahatmas can understand it, but only one, I don't know, Sudurlabha. What it means?
Sadhus are rare. Some Mahatmas Durlabha, sadhus are rare. Mahatmas are Durlabha. Mahatmas are rare. There are so many devotees of the Lord, but such devotees whose mind is always absorbed in thinking of the Lord, who does not even forget Krishna even for a moment. Such devotees are rare, who have tied up Krishna in the heart. Such devotees, such sadhus are very rarely to be found, but they are there. It is not that such sadhus are not on the planet. Such sadhus are always on the planet. They are all there. They're there.
But he says that so durlabha, very, very seldom. So almost Krishna, but Mahatmas are very educated persons. It is not just
Now,
how to. For me, it's contradictory. Vasudeva Sarvamatis, I can't understand.
in context of our ISKCON, I don't want to speak on Mahatmas because I'm just saying the Mahatma in terms of the principle. So Mahabhagavatas are rare, but they are there. They're always there. If this Ananta Shesh is holding the earth, if the sun is rising and the moon is rising, if the earth is doing its job, that means there are only two reasons. Either a Supreme Lord is on the planet or the devotees of the Lord are on the planet. There's no other reason. Why will Ananta Shesh hold this earth? Yes, Mataji.
You said there's saintly persons like Ambarish and others, they were not moving when danger was coming, but normally it's the nature of a person to save its life if it's possible, or to try it. So where's the border of being completely surrendered to Krishna and let everything come, or save yourself as far as possible?
Thank you. So we need to understand here the point. Here, Durvasa is the guest of Amrish Maharaj. So Amrish Maharaj definitely had to serve him. That was his mood. But Durvasa is angry. He is upset, and Durvasa has created a situation where he is fit to be punished. So Amrish Maharaj taking this that Lord wants me to get punished, looks like, and he accepts that situation, and then he leaves everything to everything to Supreme Lord. Whatever the Lord wants, let it happen. So that is, and at the same time Durvasa is his guest. So at the same time he also wants to serve Durvasa. Even in that situation also Amrish Maharaj wanted to serve Durvasa. He did not give up his principle of serving Durvasa. No, he was very firm on that. And that's why when the difficulties when that calamity occurred, Amrish Maharaj chose to not even move an inch, to accept the situation as it is coming, because it is coming from a Brahmana, and Brahmanas are naturally Amrish Maharaj considered Brahmanas very superior to him. If some Brahmana wants to punish Amrish Maharaj, and Brahmanas are the face of the Supreme Lord, so Amrish Maharaj took in that way, and that way he surrendered himself to the Lord and accepted that whatever is happening with the will of the Lord, and let the Lord decide it. So that is Amrish Maharaj's internal thing. So, but in scenarios, the point here I was making was to have unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. That is the main point to be taken. So it is not that when something is happening, earthquake is happening. So if you know, if you want to escape yourself, you can escape. If something is falling on you, you have intelligence, just go away. Not that it's coming. When Prahlad Maharaj was put into difficulty, not that Prahlad Maharaj was going and embracing the difficulty. No, he was being punished. Prahlad was punished by his father. He was put into difficulty, and he was. But devotee on his own, he will never go and embrace a calamity. He will naturally want to serve the Supreme Lord all the time. So devotees should also understand they should not embrace a calamity of going on their own. When you know there is a fire, why will you go and put your finger in the fire? So when such calamity occurs in the life of a person, then one should take complete shelter of the Supreme Lord. That is the main principle here. Complete dependence on Supreme Lord. Anything else?
You mentioned that Maharaj Ambrish has the highest opulences, and he was the Chakravarti Maharaj, Chakravarti Samraj over the whole universe, over the whole earth. And he has maximum opulences, material opulences, and still he was constantly engaged in the service of Lord, 24 hours. So when someone is at such a high position and have the maximum material opulences, and still he is engaged. It's very difficult actually to maintain the material opulences at the highest level and at the same time the highest level of the devotional service, both hand in hand going together. So, and this is one point. And second point is for such person there are also enemies of such people. So they want to encroach the kingdom, and he has to deal with them. So for such a saintly Maharaj, a saintly person, how he deal with this administration and all, and so it's conflicting in today's world.
Usually when there was no mention that during the Maharaj Ambarisa time there were any enemies of him. In fact, when you have a king like Yudhishthira Maharaj or Ambarisa Maharaj, after the war was over, unanimously everybody accepted even before the war also everybody accepted Yudhishthira Maharaj as Rajaswa Yagya was performed and everybody accepted Yudhishthira without opposition. Why? Because everybody knew that he is Dharmaraj. Even Duryodhan and everybody accepted that. So the whole world was united for that, understanding that he is Dharmaraj, he won't harm us. So Ambarisa Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord. They all knew his devotional qualities were revealed to everybody. So there was no such opposition. Everybody accepted him. And how to balance the opulence and all that, if everything has been offered to the Lord. So, and when this understanding will come when we hear Bhagavatam. When we hear Bhagavatam, here associate with devotees, perform Sankirtan, and then we can get distastefulness from this opulence of the world. Unless and until we have that all these things, we won't. Till that time, we think ourselves as Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. It's not going to happen. We should understand Krishna is the Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. But we think that we are, in our heart of our hearts, we think Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram is me. That is the problem. Even though we are practicing devotees, but still we have this tendency within our heart to become the Lord of the family. But the person of the family should always say go to the Lord every day, my dear Lord, this is your family, I surrender myself to you. Whatever you bring home, new things, offer that to the Lord and then accept it. Do everything, even small things you bring in the house, offer that to the Lord and accept it. So whatever new things you bring should be offered to the Lord. Do everything, Vasudevarpanam. Why not actually do it, Vasudevarpanam? Even the toys. When I bring toys, I made sure that my kids are offered to Krishna. We have Krishna, Balram and Gauradesh, so even toys are offered to Krishna. So that training we have to give them. You get a new books, offer that to the Lord and accept it. Get a new pen, offer that to the Lord and accept it. So the training has to be given. This is Vasudevarpanam. Okay, I have a meeting, so I have to leave. Hare Krishna. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Rahul Prabhu, tenagara Sundara Sagasagara. Can you learn this? Explain it. There are 2 times you have to enter the password. One for the phone, another also in that phone itself you have to enter for the device. So when that works, then it is connected and then becomes live.